All right. So let's start with the first basic definition of an API. So instead of knowing what is an API, first we should try to understand where we require this API in the project architecture. What is an API is a simple definition. API stand for Application Programming Interface. But did you understand anything from that? No, right? So you have to practically understand where exactly this come into picture in end-to-end project architecture. I will try to explain those and then I will come back to read the API definition again so you have clear understanding of what exactly API is. Okay. So I will tell you one problem now. Let's discuss this scenario, and from this scenario, we will try to understand what are the design issues and what are the problem. And then in the next lecture, let's understand how come API address this problem. Okay. First, let me take one website. For example, Marriott Hotels. So these are the hotels which provide a reservation services, and they have their room services in hotel in everywhere across the world. So they have prepared their front end and website, which look like this, where you can come here and select your city, and then you can see if there are any rooms available, and you can book it. Okay, so that's the front end. And let's assume that this whole website is prepared long ago, at least 10 years ago, using Java as a language to design this front end, like Java, HTML, CSS. Okay. Next, coming to backend. So in every project, there will be a client and server. Client is nothing but what you see on the screen. Okay. So all the UI front end, we call it as a client, and server is nothing but what it gets stored from your client. Now let's say when you book a reservation from this website, then all your details, reservation number, at what time you are booked, everything will be stored in the server side, which we also as a backend. They do have some databases or some backend code which process your details and generate reservation number. Okay. So let's assume that the backend code is also developed in Java. So create a reservation is a one method, just a scenario. Assume that there is a one method in the backend code, so that will actually responsible to confirm whether the rooms are available, and it should be create a reservation. Okay. Once the reservation is created, that ID is sent to database and it gets stored here, so that tomorrow when you want to retrieve your existing reservation, you can use the database to get back your detail from client. Okay. But ultimately this method will take all the check-in date and check-in out date and the passenger name, and it will check if there is an availability in the particular city, and then create a reservation and pass the ID. So that overall concept, and this is how this Marriott Hotels website work. Now you all know that only that specific website, there are different other marketplaces where they can sell hotel rooms like hotel.com, booking.com, and mytrip.com. There are different websites which also does the same. Basically, these guys collect all the hotel information across the world and they display in their website. So in that website also they are showing this Marriott Hotel, what we originally saw. This is their official website, but you can also book this hotel from hotels.com or any other website. Now problem is the front end is now client is nothing but hotel.com. So this is the client, right? And now hotel.com reach Marriott guys, they want to showcase their hotel in this hotel.com website. But how come you can form the integration is the question. So let's say now you have to book a hotel in Alabama state, and you will give check-in and check-out, and you say check availability. So hotel.com do not have any information about this hotel, right? Marriott, so have to contact Marriott backend and see in their database if there are any rooms left on the specific date. So once it return those details, again it has hotel.com should retrieve from backend, and it should display for the client here that 2 rooms left or 3 rooms are left. But how can hotel.com website can talk to Marriott? Marriott Hotel will not expose their code, right? So let's see here. Create a reservation method which is actually doing us all the work. But in this case, it's possible because front end and back end both belong to Marriott. So they have written one project where each and every file talk to other file and get the data. This is fine because it's their whole code and all this code is sitting in one repository. Okay. But hotel.com is entirely another repository. And why do Marriott Hotel expose their complete code? Okay, that's very bad thing, right? Just because those guys market our room, and that does not matter that we will hand over complete our repository code. In that case, how do these guys get the information from Marriott? Or when someone book the reservation here, how they will pass that information here? Okay. So when you book any hotel here directly, hotel.com will not confirm you all the details. Whatever you want to hear should be sent to the Marriott backend code, and that Marriott backend will validate all the stuff, whether availability and all, and then it create a reservation and store the ID and give it back to the hotel.com. But how this website can talk to this code, that is our problem, because both are different repository maintained by different companies. And like hotel.com, there are hundred of websites which are also does the same thing, like make my trip yatra.com or booking.com, hotel.com. So will Marriott give their repository to each and every guy who ever asks? That's not ideal thing, right? Then how it's happening in our day-to-day life? I think you are slowly understanding why eBay is required. Okay, so this is our main problem. I'm just telling you that the problem now, unknowingly something to strike in your mind that we need something to fix this, which is nothing but API. So let me give you another problem before we see and bring the API into the picture. All right. So Merit only both front end and back end and same proposal. When they developed 10 years ago, they used Java, JSL language to build all the front end. But recently, there are many front end and framework like Angular, React, JS. So they want to update their web page with the latest framework available, which is, let's say, Angular. So you all know that Angular uses a TypeScript. Okay, it will not use Java. So these guys have written TypeScript code and develop front end. And again, there is a problem. Backend is written in Java. Okay, so we are very sure that no other tool can beat it backend in code other than Java in front end. So you have many languages, but backend based is evergreen in Java. But when you write a code in TypeScript, and can you call this create a reservation method which is written in Java into TypeScript? It's not possible, right? So not only Java and TypeScript, you cannot call a method which is present in the Python language into your Java. Technically, it's not possible. So earlier, our life is easy, but everything is on Java. But because of the market competition, they want to develop a top-notch website which would look and feel. So they have adopted Angular TypeScript. The one solution is that they have to write entire backend in TypeScript, which is really hectic and not a good suggestion, because TypeScript is a very popular in front end, but not at all in the backend. Okay, so this is very very common in recent days. I think each and every website now, what you see in your real life, like a front end, which is client, will have a one stack like a Angular TypeScript. The backend, when you go, you will have another stack in like Java. These are the design problems which will industry face where you don't have an API, but still you don't know how API solve this problem. You understood that there is a problem, and obviously, as this course is an API testing, you will be knowing that API is going to solve this problem. But how? So in the next video, we'll see how API can play a major role in solving all this design problem, and from that we will be saying the definition. Okay, thank you.